Joined by Brian Hayes of TSN 1050 Overdrive in Toronto. Life without Morgan Rielly is not going to be fun for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He leads the Leafs playing over 24 minutes a game. No one else is even close. He's really the only completely dependable, reliable man on the blue line. Matthews might score 70. I get that. Goalies are important. We've seen that happen with the Leafs. But is losing Rielly long-term the worst case scenario for a team that was already weak on the blue line?
I think it has the potential to be that because of everything you just said, Gino. We know what the weakness of this team has been all year. It's team defense. Let's be clear here. It's not just the 6 guys that go out there and play defense every night. The whole team collectively has to get better. And Morgan Rielly is at the top of that list. He's the number one guy. He plays PP1. He plays against the toughest competition. He plays the most minutes. He diffuses a lot of issues in their own end. But he's also not Scott Stevens in his prime, right? He's not Larry Robinson in his prime. He's not a shutdown defenseman. So I think what this could become, and I think it has to if the Maple Leafs are going to find a way to get through this, it has to become a galvanizing moment for them. I think collectively they all have to defend better. You mentioned Matthews
scoring 70. But aren't you just asking guys who already couldn't do what they're being asked to do now to do even more?
I just think it becomes even more emphasized. Yes, you're right. Through 50 games, you would think it would have been established by now, Gino. You would think that this D-core, the team collectively, Sheldon Keefe, the message would have been through, that they need to defend better, but maybe you need to take out the stalwart. Maybe the main piece has to come out, like we saw with Joseph Woll earlier in the year, where we were all panicking, or the Leaf fans in this city were panicking. What happens now? They found a way to collectively get it done and survive without Joseph Woll. The fact of the matter is they don't have another choice, right? You got 32 games left. You're barely into the playoffs. You can't pack up your bags and leave because Morgan Rielly's not there.
But it's not just defensively. It's offensively as well. Over 22% of the Leafs goals this year have been scored on the power play. Morgan Rielly's the anchor on that number one power play unit. Now, Rielly's gone. Mm-hmm. Timothy Liljegren, Jake McCabe.
Jake McCabe might be PP1.
Drop-off.
It's a massive drop-off. Let's face it. This defense core, at their best, was middle of the pack in the NHL. On paper, this is a bottom third defense core. And the power play units, again, it's been better recently. It's been inconsistent at times over the course of the year. It's not ideal, clearly, that you have Jake McCabe as a PP1 quarterback. I mean, that's almost like an oxymoron, or it sounds like it. Yeah. But you still have Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. Special teams are important, but I think where it really has to build here and where they really have to continue to improve is killing penalties and playing better 5-on-5. You can't just feast on the power play. It can get you pretty far. It can't get you all the way to the dance. So, yes, they are going to miss him on the power play, but you can survive with your power play hurt a little bit. It's 5-on-5. It's killing penalties. It's playing your own zone. That's where they really are going to be tested here.
So you're suggesting the fact that this might be a galvanizing event.
I'm hoping for their sake that it is.
Here's what I believe. I believe this is the event that finally pushes them over to do something they didn't want to do. I think the Morgan Rielly suspension could cost this team a first-round draft pick. And here's why I say that. Because the Calgary Flames want a second-round pick for Chris Tanev right now. They've made that pretty clear. The Flames know the Leafs don't have one. The Leafs have said, we don't have a second-round pick. All we got is first-rounders, and we're not giving that up. The Flames say, first-rounder or nothing, you don't give them. Does this force Brad Treliving's hand that now says, I have no choice. I got to give up a first-rounder because we can't do life without Rielly?
No, I don't believe that's the case because I already referenced the goaltending situation. Joseph Woll, we were having the same conversations, Gino. Yeah. What are they going to do without Joseph Woll? They found a way to band together. They got quality goaltending out of Martin Jones.
Martin Jones out of the
We're not talking 2.5 months here, right? Like Woll is still out of the lineup. Yeah. Woll was out for an extended period of time. And Ilya Samsonov, obviously, he took himself out of the conversation with his play. Martin Jones found a way to get in there and get the job done. It's a similar situation here. I don't dispute that the Leafs would like Chris Tanev. I think there's a price that could be paid that they would get him for, but you can't panic based on Morgan Rielly being out for a short period of time.
I'm not
this is an 82-game season, but it would be a panic.
But if you wait an extended period without Morgan Rielly, by the time Rielly comes back, you could be out of it.
They might be, but there still will be enough runway for them to get back into it, right? Like that's the reality of their situation. We're not talking 2 months here without Morgan Rielly. That would be a different story. If he was out for the rest of the season, I'd have a very different viewpoint. But he will return. They have to find a way to come together and rack up points because really, this is overshadowing the fact that they haven't been very consistent all year. They're barely in the playoffs, and they've got a 32-game race. So it's not going to be easy. I'm not suggesting that it will be without Rielly, but you can't completely panic and say, fine, I'll pay a price I wasn't willing to pay puck drop Saturday night that I am willing to pay now. Rielly will return. It's on everyone else on that room or in that room and on that ice to pick him up with him out of the lineup.
For the record, the Leafs don't have much left in the form of assets high in the draft right now. In the 24, 25, 26 drafts, the Leafs only have 2 picks in the top 2 rounds.